Following the fall or autumnal equinox happening September 22nd, which marks the start of Libra season, we'll see this fall's harvest moon and September's full moon in the cardinal sign of Aries, offering us lessons in duality between the opposing Libra sun's energy of diplomacy and balance with this powerful harvest full moon's energy of self-assertion and dominance. So, if we're open to it, exploring how we embrace the balance between the me and the we, the I and the other, and independence versus interdependence, all will help us step forward in alignment with this Aries full moon. Hello friends, it's your girl Alina back for another full moon lunation reading. And in this one, as always, we'll go over the significance of what a full moon is, an Aries full moon, what that looks like energy-wise, along with top transits surrounding this lunation. And of course, at the end, I'll offer some custom full moon journal prompts so we can write, reflect, and align together. And before we dive in, I have two special announcements. Oh, not four, two. One, if you are someone who enjoys aligning your schedule with the cosmos and rhythms of nature, then the Auralign Astrology Planner might just be for you. It is my creation and it's an annual planner that has notifications for all the top astrological events, full and new moon dedicated journaling, ritual pages, seasonal guides, and much more. And the 2024 astrology planners and planner line, including notebooks and so much more, will officially be launching on October 19th. So I'm really excited for y'all to enjoy this. In my last video, I asked you guys for advice on what colors I should offer in the shop. And so I really appreciated your feedback on that. And if you'd like a direct notification to your email, then you can click on the link to the Auralign website to sign up. And next up, happening even sooner than that, on September 28th, we'll be having a fall equinox / harvest full moon live stream where we will be reflecting on the closing of summer and setting intentions for the fall, along with some full moon activities sprinkled in together live here on this channel on September 28th on Thursday. So I'll give you some more details at the end of this video, but just wanted to let y'all know. So turn on your notifications. But with all of that said, let's go ahead and dive into the video. So first things first, why is this full moon so important? So to set the foundation, let's talk full moons in general. The full moon marks the highest energetic culmination point of the lunar cycle. It's midway through the lunar cycle, where we see that the sun's light has built on the surface of the moon to its fullest surface capacity on the day of this full moon, which will be happening on September 29th or 30th, depending on your time zone. Full moons are a beautiful time of reflecting on our own culminations in life. They're also, I like to call them a cosmic spotlight because they tend to really illuminate things in our lives relative to whatever sign that it's in. So with it being in Aries, we will go over the Aries themes that it will be illuminating at this time a little on in the video. And just as we see that the full moon can raise the tides, so too can it raise our emotional and intuitive abilities, along with its connection to our inner world. And in general, we know that the moon is this closest astral body to the earth that directly impacts our inner world, how we process things and our emotions. So just as we see that the full moon can raise the tides, so too can it raise our emotional and intuitive abilities, along with really increasing the themes that we might see in our lives or others when it comes to wanting to allow our inner world to come to the surface, finally speaking things, bringing things to light, as this cosmic light really shines at this time. This is why you see many people doing full moon rituals, where they take time to get grounded and essentially allow the full moon's cleansing light to play a part in their lives, as they write out things that they might be ready to let go of, and also things that they're excited to celebrate and look at how they too have grown over the course of the last, 14 days, year, or previous season. Many people might take the page where they've written the things that they're ready to release, and they might destroy it or burn it in a fire as this elemental way to signify that they're ready to let go of these things. And just as we see that the light wanes on the surface of the moon all the way down to the new moon at the end of the lunar cycle, so too can the energy fade around the things that we're looking to release at this time. And these are some of the many reasons why in the Auralign Astrology Planner, there are dedicated full and new moon ritual journaling pages for you to do this. And the pages are perforated for the full moon. So as an astrology nerd, I love that you can easily tear it out and destroy it in any way that you see fit. Next up, what does a full moon in the sign of Aries look like? So when we see a lunation like this, it can tend to bring about heightened levels of inner initiative, confidence, self-assertion, and courage. Now, one of the reasons that these themes arise under an Aries moon is because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's represented by the number 1 and considered to embody the youngest energy of the zodiac. And what's the common characteristic that we often see in babies and the youth? They're usually looking out for number 1. They're less afraid of societal judgments or pressures. They're strongly connected to their inner voice and their own needs, less than overthinking or considering others. We also see that this time seasonally is the start of Aries season in the spring for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. And we see the themes of spring being about new life emerging in the plants, animals, and nature around us. And as mentioned before, with any full moon offering cosmic spotlight into different areas of our lives, it will likely be bringing to the surface and illuminating these areas dictated by the cardinal sign, that being Aries. And so all of this to say, Aries moons can be a very high energy jumping off point for choosing a time to maybe take initiative, practice our own self-assertion, and let go of any worries of societal judgments, especially if any of those things that I just listed don't necessarily come naturally to us, or they don't feel as intuitive, or maybe as I'm saying them to you, they resonate as things that you're hoping to grow into over time. Alternatively, this full moon can be a beautiful time to reflect on and celebrate how far you've already come within those realms of your life and how we've advocated for ourselves or stepped forward confidently in the past. So with that said, if that description was level 1 of a full moon, then this next part 2, will be level 2 as we dive a little bit deeper into this lunation's themes. So, for you to fully understand the themes of this Aries full moon, let's back up just a little bit more. So, as with all full moons, they occur when we see an opposition between the sun and the moon. And it's through this opposition that we often are being called to strike a balance and embrace the duality between the two areas of our lives that these opposing astral bodies impact. So, we see the full moon occurs when the sun in Libra forms an opposition with the moon in Aries. Now, an opposition aspect between two astral bodies indicates fundamental polarity or duality, and it can tend to bring tension in between the two, which can sometimes lead to mishaps or frustration. But with this full moon, we're being asked to strike a balance between the opposites through compromise. So to set the stage, we have the sun, our central star that impacts our ego, how we present ourselves to the world, currently transiting through the very diplomatic and balancing sign of Libra. And it's in opposition, having this polarity with the moon, this astral body that impacts, again, I mentioned before, our inner world, emotions, intuitive abilities, and psyche. So it's currently in the cardinal sign of Aries, which brings in more intensity, authenticity, and independence. So where Libra represents others and compromise, Aries represents the self and personal fulfillment. So this full moon really invites us to finally face and express any potential conflict between I and other, me and you, independence and interdependence. And so really it's all about balance. And for some, this might resonate in terms of the scale of being more on the side of too much of that Aries energy of independence, or too much self-assertion, or not being connected to community. This can look like the full moon illuminating areas where it's finally time to maybe ask for some help and try a new method that others suggested, or maybe lean into the Libra energy of collaboration and working together at home. This can also look like reassessing what we thought were boundaries that actually were walls keeping us in our own comfort zones. Now, this full moon might be a time also for holding more space for other people's perspectives of how we've been showing up, and leaning into things like community and just embracing new approaches. While for others, it can show up as more heavier Libra energy of realizing our capacity for empathy with others has maybe clouded our ability to set healthy boundaries for our own personal self-preservation. So overall, this Aries full moon is definitely offering us lessons and illuminations within aspects of our lives involving balance between the me and the we, the independence and the interdependence. And whether this shows up as highlighting where to grow or highlighting aspects of ourselves to embrace, this Aries Libra opposition during this full moon is ultimately holding space for us to find balance. Next up, for any of y'all who are in the Northern Hemisphere like me, this full moon will also be a harvest moon. Now, a harvest moon is a name given to the first full moon of autumn, as it marks a vital harvest period for farmers to reap what they have sown into the land. And so, mirroring nature, this lunation is a powerful time to reflect on what we are reaping from our own past actions, along with embracing forgiveness and acceptance to others and ourselves, especially at the close of another season. All right, next, let's dive into the top transits surrounding this full moon. So first, about a week leading up to this Aries lunation, we see that on September 22nd, the sun will enter the sign of Libra, marking the beginning of autumn in the Northern Hemisphere and the beginning of spring in the Southern Hemisphere. And it will also be marking the start of Libra season for all of us. So for us here in the Northern Hemisphere, the autumn season is a time for releasing what no longer serves us, just like we see the trees do with their leaves, getting back to our roots and reaping what we have sown. And just as we see many plants drawing their energy from their branches down to their roots, which is what results in the fall leaves along with the temperature changes, so too can we get grounded and release what no longer serves us. So shifting from Earth seasons to astrological seasons, in general, Libra season brings energetic support within the realms of relationships, harmony, justice, and diplomacy. So this season can be a beautiful time for collaborations, prioritizing our work-life balance, and setting healthy boundaries. Now, if you have your Auralign planner, be sure to flip over to your fall seasonal guide section where you can learn about seasonal foods, seasonal lunations, their names and their impacts, and even some seasonal spell ideas for the fall. I want to extend a special happy birthday to all of my Libra friends. I love you, appreciate you, and as a Gemini, you truly complete me. Y'all are so balancing and diplomatic, and especially for Geminis. I don't know about you guys if you've noticed this, like if you're a Libra or Gemini, but I've always been gravitated towards Libras in so many ways, and we love you. So anyway, I appreciate you. All right, next up, during this full moon, we'll likely see an emphasis on relationships, with us seeing two notable transits, both involving Venus. Now, the first transit will be Venus squaring Uranus. And with this type of occurrence, we usually see an uptick in potential revelations or unexpected things coming to light within relationships. So these relationships can be either romantic, business, or any form of a relationship or collaboration. Now, this is because we see Venus, the planet of love and relationships, having a square, which is an aspect that can sometimes create amplified challenges or friction between the astral bodies involved. So Venus is having this square with Uranus, the planet of freedom, awakening, and change. So this type of transit can tend to increase the likelihood of some of us experience longings for something new, fresh, or different when it comes to our relationship dynamics. So in general, stable and healthy relationships shouldn't feel impacted by any of this in any strong way, especially when we're open-minded. But overall, this type of transit can tend to make us want to shake things up a little bit in our collaborations, friendships, relationships. And that doesn't always necessarily mean anything negative per se, especially if we are open-minded and open to pivoting in some ways. But especially if you notice that there's any sort of rigidity in the relationship, this can lead to potential mishaps, especially because it is a squared aspect with Uranus and Venus. But if we're open to the lessons that any sort of friction might bring from this situation, we could actually learn what one another's boundaries are in relationships and, where we can kind of bounce off of and move forward together with better understanding of ourselves and others. Now, it won't all be negative. So if you've been maybe waiting for the perfect weekend for dating or romance, then Venus sextiling Mars at the time of this full moon will definitely create a supportive time for just that. Now, this is because we have Venus, again, the planet of love and relationships, having a very easy flowing sextile aspect with Mars, the planet of action, dominance, and assertion. So when you see these two planets come together in a sextile, which is an aspect that offers easy flowing opportunities and ideas between the astral bodies involved, they can tend to create a pretty complementary environment for very confident expression of our desires, especially within the love department. So this can create a very beautiful time for things like dating and romance, whether you're currently in a relationship or considering to maybe go on a date night, or you're maybe looking to date. This Venus sextiling Mars transit at the time of this full moon can definitely offer a romantic air to this lunation that's already in a pretty romantic sign of Libra. And by the way, if any of this video has already resonated with you and you're enjoying it, then be sure to hit that subscribe button to get notifications for more videos like these. Okay, next up, in terms of ways to align with this energy, reflecting on and seeing if there's anything you feel called to release within the realms of Aries. So this can be anything involving our confidence, self-assertion, courage, and our ability to take initiative. Especially because this is a full moon and a lot of these themes right now are in alignment with releasing, we can also reflect on if there's anything that you might have felt that has obstructed or gotten in the way of your ability to be courageous, to speak your mind, to set healthy boundaries, or to advocate for yourself. Releasing things like that or getting clear on them, just the act of having that come to your forefront of your mind can be very helpful in allowing you to be more self-aware of those things moving forward. This can also be a time to celebrate how far you've come within those realms as well. So journaling and reflecting on how you might have handled something a lot differently 5 years ago, 10 years ago than you are now, and how you've grown in some way, especially when it comes to collaborations and communicating with one another. Now, from the perspective of this Libra Sun and Aries Moon opposition, we can reflect on their themes of exploring the duality between the I and the other, the me and the you, and the independence and the interdependence. So have you noticed that you have been leaning on one side of that spectrum more than the other? Like, have you been leaning more in the independent realm or maybe even the codependent realm? What could it look like for you to achieve balance there? Okay, and next up, let's talk collective perspective. So this segment of the video is where we reflect on ways that we can maybe volunteer and get involved in our communities that are in alignment with the transits going on right now and this Aries full moon. So during this type of lunation, which is an Aries and known for its energetic and action-oriented influences, some activities in alignment with these astrological themes can be ones that involve leadership, independence, and taking initiative. So 2 volunteer ideas that align with this energy could include organizing a community cleanup or leading a youth mentorship program. So in terms of a community cleanup, Aries' bold and enterprising nature can definitely be channeled into organizing something like this. So this is not only a great expression of leadership and initiative, but it can also help to foster a sense of pride and cleanliness in your community. Next up, Aries is great for mentoring and guiding others, especially the youth, as it really embodies youthful energy. So starting or participating in things like youth mentorship programs can definitely be a fulfilling way to contribute during this Aries full moon. So platforms like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, which is bbs.org, or even mentor.gov, can be great resources for finding opportunities for engaging with young people in your communities. As always, I've left links for all of these things in the video description. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and dive into these Aries full moon journal prompts. So if you have your Auralign Astrology Planner, you can go ahead and flip over to the dedicated Aries full moon journal area to write all of these out. And what I'm going to do is I will read them out here to you, and you'll see them on the screen, and they will also be in the video description. So I will read them. I invite you to pause the video, write them out, unpause, and then we'll meet back here after. In what ways have you grown into your ability to set boundaries and advocate for yourself? What is an area of life that you feel the most confident in? What is your most ideal romantic evening? And finally, during this full moon, is there anything that you're ready to release at this time? All right, y'all, that is the journal prompts. I hope that you enjoyed them. And before we go, I wanted to give you guys more details on the live stream coming up next week. So one is that it's free and that it will be streaming here on YouTube on Thursday, September 28th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to turn your notification bells on here on YouTube so you're notified when it happens. I am so excited about this. Comment below if you went to the winter solstice journaling live stream, where we also went to the seasonal reflections page of the Auralign planner together. If you don't have your planner, you don't need one for this, but it's just really nice to be able to like use them all together and fill it out together. And we basically reflected on the closing of the fall season, and then we looked to the winter season, which included the new year. And it was so fun to not only share our challenges, our lessons, along with our wins from the previous season. And, you know, so what I would do is I would read them out, and then you guys in the comments would respond and I would read your responses. So it was really cool to be able to basically give a platform to you guys and what you're working on or what your challenges or lessons were, and then also read to you what everybody's feedback was and everybody's encouraging words and how maybe they've gone through something similar. So we did that, and then we also set intentions for the new season ahead, and we encouraged each other along the way for that too. And so we're basically going to have that type of a structure for this live stream, and I'm really excited to do that. I just feel like, I don't know about you guys, but one of the reasons why I created the planner line and why I'm really excited about doing these live streams more is that I feel like sometimes, like, at least for me, I don't have a lot of, not everybody around me is super into spiritual things or intention setting or taking time to really get grounded and reflect on how did this last season go? What was going on? You know, it's not really something that's normal, at least in Western culture. And so to be able to co-create this space all together live where we can do that, I'm just really excited about it. I'm going on a rant because I love it and I love you guys. So be sure to bring your Auralign Astrology Planner if you have it to this. Again, Thursday the 28th. All right, with that said, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, be sure to comment if you've already been feeling any of this astrological energy. I usually do beforehand. If you have any answers that you feel called to share from the journal prompt questions. And if not that, I'd love if you commented 3 fire emojis for the fire sign of Aries. Either way, when you engage with my work, it tells YouTube, the YouTube algorithm or the powers that be, that you enjoy content like this. And I really appreciate it. Also, if you're someone who enjoys staying aligned with the moon phases, cosmos, and nature seasons, then be sure to check out my creation, the Auralign Astrology Planner, when it launches for pre-sale on October 19th. Now, the Auralign Astrology Planner is a metaphysical tool filled with notification for the entire year's astrological events, along with dedicated full and new moon ritual pages, seasonal wellness guide, writing prompts, and a lot more. So links for this will be in the video description. So with all of that said, you can tell I'm tired, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and leave you with my favorite quote, and that is, be gentle with yourself, because life is about the journey and not the destination. All right. Peace, friends.